All right, so let's get started with creating curriculum. So I have a form here that I know a popular program uses that they like for you to have if you're creating your own curriculum. And that is they want you to provide scope and sequence, scope overview of the class, and then the sequence method of teaching and the lessons and the materials needed. And so a lot of times the materials needed, obviously they're trying to justify the usage of something with the curriculum, the scope overview and the sequence method lessons. So let's go back to ChatGPT. Again, we're using the free version. Now, what I like to do is first, I want to find out what questions I can ask it to then it really do a great job of customizing something for me. I might just at first glance think, write me a science curriculum using, in fact, let's do that. Okay. I'm going to say, create a science curriculum around a telescope. And I'm just gonna, that's like a basic prompt, right? And it's going to give me lessons, unit studies. I mean, already this is a great first step. There's assessments, right? So we have 14 lessons: night sky observation, citizen city and astronomy, Hubble telescope. It's got units, it's got lessons, it's got assessments, quizzes, and exams on telescopic styles, etc. Now I can ask it to please create the quizzes and exams. And there you go. We've got the quizzes right here. We've got exams and quizzes. Now, it didn't give me the answers. So I'm going to say, give me the answers. It doesn't always give you the answer. So here it is. Here are the answers for the quizzes, for the exams. Now I'm going to ask it to create a scope and sequence for a curriculum description page. So the basic thing is you want to create a scope and sequence. So we have the units and the assessments. Okay, it's not quite what I was looking for. Please provide a description of the scope and sequence of the course. Okay, so here's more what I'm looking for. It's got the grade levels, it's got the overview. Now I'm going to actually say, and I do this all the time, condense this information into one paragraph. Something that you could put, for example, in that form. Okay, so here we go. Embark on a captivating exploration. Again, write this to input on a homeschooling form that explains the scope and sequence. So it's all about what you prompt it with to get that desired result. So we've got the course title. This is exactly more what I'm looking for. Perfect. We've got the grade level, the course description, and the scope and sequence. This is exactly what I would copy and paste. Now, let's say, well, it's actually for a second grader. Can you adjust for a second grade level? So here we go, grade level 2, etc. Right? So you can always do any kinds of adjustments. Now, I need a paragraph of materials needed. Okay, if you're filling out that form, so there it is. You can also say, can you make it into a list form? Maybe you need to provide a list or you want to create a list. Okay, so there you go. What else is on that form? It's materials needed, sequence method of teaching. Okay, can you provide the sequence method of teaching lessons? And there you go. You've got your unit, your lesson, all of your lessons, all of the units. So this is great. It did it all for you in an instant. You didn't have to come up and research it or search the web, search for Pinterest. Done. and you created a curriculum around one item, right? A telescope. You could do this with a microscope. You could do this, whatever. So I showed you just kind of the basic prompts, right? But I think asking it to ask you a series of questions gives you a better result. So, for example, can you ask me a series of questions one at a time and wait for my answer before you ask the next question to create a, let's say, language arts curriculum for a 10-year-old? Okay, so this is very important. Can you ask me a series of questions one at a time and wait for my answer, excuse me, before you ask the next question to create a language? Because this is going to give you the best result when you ask it to ask you the questions. And you also want them to do it one at a time, because if not, it just gives you a list of questions and then you're trying to answer them all. So this is the best way. Okay, so of course, I'd be happy to help. What is the current reading level of the 10-year-old? Are they comfortable reading independently, or do they prefer some assistance? So again, this is going to give you a great result. If you have a 10-year-old who is a struggling reader, it's going to give you a different result than a 10-year-old who's reading great independently. So I'm going to say they are a strong reader. And then maybe we'll do this with a reader that needs some assistance. Okay, great. Good to know. Let's proceed with crafting the curriculum. And so there we go, analyzing themes, writing, encourage your child to write a short story, reading, choose a book with blah, blah, blah. So there's your curriculum. Week 14, creative portfolio, compile their best written pieces, including stories and essays. So great. You have a language arts program here. Now, maybe can you create worksheets for each week? Let's see what it gives me. Sorry, I think I'm getting a little sore throat. Okay, let's see what it gives me. All right, so we have plot points, characters, worksheet, plot points. Give your child a story with a simple plot structure. Ask them to write down 3 important events. So I'm going to copy and paste this and say, create this worksheet, and paste it. See what it does. You could really have fun with this, and it'll create the actual worksheets. Copy and paste this into a Google Doc and you've got it, right? Read the story below, then complete the task. So this is the story. Write down an important adventure, draw a small picture, middle. I love this. So it's even doing the worksheets for you. So again, you can totally customize this to your child. So let's say start over and let's create a language arts curriculum for a struggling 9-year-old reader. Let's see what it gives me. So we have here some phonic awareness, context clues and vocabulary. There's an activities and writing for each week. Can you create a scope and sequence for this curriculum? And so we have that there. It's going to tell you week 8, week 9, week 10, what they're doing. Please provide materials needed. So again, if you're filling out any kind of form and you need to maybe buy some flashcards or something like that, this is how you can justify it. You've got the curriculum, you've got the lessons. What's that other question I keep forgetting? Sequence, method of teaching lessons. What is the method of teaching sequence lessons? And there we go. And I always like to say, can you condense into one paragraph? If you're filling out a form, right? You don't want to copy and paste all of that. So there you go. Let's try one more. Let's start over. And can you create a science curriculum or a high schooler? So this is just a basic prompt, and it's going to give you the units, the weeks. So I'm going to go with the first week, right? Week one, understanding the scientific method. And I'm going to write, please provide lesson one. Like, okay, it gave me the list of lessons, but actually write the lesson for me. And so here it is. Lesson one, understanding the scientific method. We've got the objective, the materials needed, the duration, the discussion, the hands-on activities. Now, maybe you're traveling or something and you're not going to do hands-on activities. So please edit to remove hands-on activities. Or you could say, this is my limitation, or this is homeschooling. There is no group discussions, or maybe there is. You have a lot of kids, right? So there it is. Homework. Ask students to find an example of scientific experiment from a reliable source and identify the steps. So I could say, can you create a worksheet around this? Absolutely. Here is the worksheet. And then I'm also going to write, can you create a test for this lesson? So here's the test. Now it's not going to give me the answers. So again, I just need to ask it to give me the answers. Done. So you've got the answers there. What else would I want to do with something like this? Can you teach me lesson one? And it's teaching you the scientific method. It's explaining it, the importance of each step, application in real life. Maybe you have a question. I still don't understand it, or think of a specific question. And it's going to try to clarify or tell you, make a guess or whatever. It's explaining it even more. And then you can ask, I have a question about step 6. And it's probably going to ask me, like, well, what's your question? Yeah, so it's going to say, what's your question? And I'll do my best to provide a clear answer. So you can play with this for hours, honestly. But again, basic prompts is, please provide a curriculum around a hair dryer. I mean, we're going really crazy here, right? It actually did it because I didn't start over. It's doing a science curriculum on a hair dryer, which is pretty cool. You can always ask it to stop generating if, oh, that's not what I meant. Okay, let's start over. And can you create a homeschooling curriculum that uses a blow dryer? I didn't spell it right. It's always still understands me though. All right, heat and energy transfer, math. It's pretty cool. Then my other favorite prompt, and then again, you can ask it to please provide the scope and sequence. And again, you can ask it to condense it into one paragraph to give you an overview. You can ask it to give you I want to say ingredients, but the materials needed. And then my favorite way to prompt it is always doing the ask me a series of questions, one at a time, and wait for my answer to customize the perfect homeschooling curriculum. Now, this is pretty vague, so I want to see what it does with that. What is the grade level of the student you're creating this curriculum for? I'm going to say 6th grade. All right, let's proceed. Provide the answers to the following questions. And again, it should have done one at a time. What are the primary subjects you want in the curriculum? So I'm going to put math, science, language arts, social studies, art, physical education. Are there any specific areas of focus or topics you'd like to emphasize? No special, of course, this is where you would put it. No special areas. Maybe you want to rely on classics or, whatever preferences you have. Are there any educational resources you already have? I have an internet connection. Do you prefer a structured daily schedule or flexibility? Interesting. So we'll put a daily schedule. Are there any hands-on activities? No hands-on activities. You're just not a Pinterest mom. You don't have time to be driving around everywhere. So no hands-on activities. Are there any specific learning goals you want to achieve by the end? So at the end of sixth grade, um, maybe able to read a classic book. Okay. So let's see what it gives you. So I'm always a fan of having it ask you questions to create the best thing. So here we go. It's going to take a while because it's doing all the subjects, and it's got a comprehensive learning experience for sixth grade covering key subjects and concepts while accommodating your preferences for a structured daily schedule. Talk about customized exactly to what you want. We've got math, we've got number sense operations, fractions, decimals, geometry, and measurement. So this is a 12-week program, so you can ask it to do however many weeks that you want. It's going to expand it. We've got earth and science all the way to week 12. We've got language arts, social studies, and of course you can always copy and paste this and ask it to expand on it to give you those lessons. So let's do that. Please provide this curriculum lessons. And it's going to break it down for you. There it is, day 1, day 2, day 3, and within those days you can again copy and paste and say provide the lesson for day 10. So I'm going to copy and paste. Please provide the lesson for day 10. And here it is, the objective, the activity, the steps, and it's got step 3 quiz or trivia game. So I'm going to say, write a quiz for step 3. And it's going to write it. There it is. And again, it's not going to give you the answers. So I need the answers. Prompt it for the answers. Please provide answers. So you could do this with any subject. Again, just ask it to write you the curriculum and then further ask it for scope and sequence or list of materials, lessons, condense it into a paragraph. Or I like to better yet, ask me a series of questions one at a time to create the perfect customized curriculum for this grade, this age child, for this subjects, for all of these subjects, and let it go from there. So that is how you can create a customized learning plan for anybody using ChatGPT and just keep prompting it. Don't just stop wherever it stops. You can keep asking it for the lesson, for the quiz, break it down, teach me this. It will keep going. So that it's all about how you prompt it and follow up with it. All right, so I hope that you found this helpful. If you have any questions, let me know in the module down below in the comments. All right, see you in the next one.